Hey everybody, how's it going? Surprise, it's me, Mike from Comic Book Fans. Normally Luke does these boys review breakdowns, but fortunately he cannot do it today. So here I am. So normally Luke does these cheeseburger reviews or whatever, but I don't have a cheeseburger. I've got a taco and a really pitiful looking one at that. It's good old Taco Bell, always giving quality service. Yeah, not that I don't like cheeseburgers, but normally I like tacos. This one's kind of hard to look at. But anyway, season 2, episode 7. So this episode is called The Butcher, the Baker, and the Candlestick Maker. Kind of funny little thing there, but where we left off last episode, the last thing we saw was Stormfront telling Homelander, "Surprise, I'm a Nazi," and Homelander, surprisingly, is cool with that. Who knew? And then we also saw Stormfront was experimenting on these people, and there's one girl, Cindy, she escaped, and she was with the one with like the telekinetic powers and stuff, and we saw her leaving the compound, and she was hitchhiking and got picked up by a car, so we know she escaped. So that's where we left off. Now this episode picks up right after. Lamplighter is with Mallory and the boys, and they are with Senator Newman, and they are basically trying to set him up to be a witness against Vought. And yeah, so he's doing that, and then eventually everybody else leaves except for Butcher. Sorry, except for Huey, and he stays with Lamplighter. And speaking of Butcher, a little Freudian slip there, but speaking of Butcher, we get to see his parents, kind of get to see his dad, the relationship with his dad, and kind of see why he's the way he is, which is interesting to see, and also to see, what happened with little Lenny, why Lenny, his younger brother, ended up killing himself, all that stuff. So yeah, interesting stuff there. And then Huey stays with Lamplighter, and finally, things kind of catch up with Starlight, which is kind of a long time coming. Ever since season 1, Homelander was suspicious of her, and so now she's finally in prison. It seems like Stormfront kind of blew the whistle on her because she already revealed, Stormfront already revealed, she knew Starlight was the one that leaked all the, Vought stuff, so, the Compound V to CNN or whatever, so yeah. And she already said that she has plans for her, which it's, even this episode is revealed, she has plans to kind of use her as a token, like a common enemy or something, to kind of get people back to liking Vought, I guess, is what she's going for. So yeah, there was all that. That was interesting, and then we have this whole, prison break with Huey and Lamplighter, and it didn't take, much convincing from Huey to get Lamplighter to help. He's hated Vought for a while, so they threw him under the bus after he killed Mallory's grandchildren. So yeah, that's kind of an interesting part of the episode. And then there's this whole like sort of white supremacy thing. Like they get a little bit political in this, kind of making Stormfront and Homelander kind of super far right, almost like alt right kind of stuff. Like they even say stuff like, keep America safe again. Like what could that be, a reference to? But they don't get too political with it, so it's not annoying. It's just kind of funny and interesting. It's not like some shows like Supergirl that just like rub it in your face for an hour. But yeah, it was interesting. That whole part, and it was kind of funny, and obviously Stormfront's a Nazi, and it seems like Homelander's just kind of cool with it too, which is odd. I did not expect him to be kind of full-blown Nazi, but okay. But speaking of Homelander and Stormfront, most of the episode they show up and start, basically they're kind of grooming Homelander's kid to be like their prodigy, because he's got superpowers, and they want him to basically, they want to raise him to be how they want him to be, which is like kind of, I think they want him to be kind of like the next generation of, superheroes, whatever. And they end up just kind of being really manipulative and kind of turning him against his mom the whole episode, until the very end they fly off with him. And it seems like next episode Becca's gonna go to Butcher for help to get her son back, and it's like, you kind of should have left when you had the chance, but whatever. I'm sure it'll be okay. Everything always turns out great in this show. Yeah. Anyway, so moving on, I think eventually they do break out Starlight, Huey, and Lamplighter, which Lamplighter pulls a whole setting himself on fire, which I did not expect. And let's talk about that for a second. What what kind of superpower can you control fire but you're not fireproof? Like, I guess I just kind of took it for granted, but that's just kind of funny. It'd be like being super strong but having normal strength, like human bones. So whenever you punch something, you break your bones. It's like I don't know. I just didn't expect that. It's kind of funny that he can basically burn himself up. I guess it makes sense. I don't know, but it's just kind of funny. So anyway, yeah. So he Lamplighter sets himself on fire, which was surprising, and you almost feel bad for him by the end, even though he's a total pervert and kind of a jerk. You do kind of feel bad for him by the end. But anyway, yeah. So then he kills himself to help basically set free Starlight. Then Starlight and Huey try to escape, but then Starlight is accosted by Black Noir, which leads to a pretty funny scene. But before we get into that, let's talk about Queen Maeve. Her whole arc, like it seemed like from season 1, she was really starting to not be with the program with Vought, and everything that's going on and Homelander's lies and all that. Like starting with the episode where she and Homelander leave everybody on that plane. That really seemed to affect her, and now she's, it definitely seems like she doesn't want to be on Team Vought so much anymore. She's kind of being very dissatisfied with what's going on, and this kind of showed in this episode. She already stood up for Starlight once, but now she actually fights Black Noir to save Starlight, and that's like definitely taking a step up. Like I feel like it's gonna come back to bite her, and I don't know. I feel like eventually she's going to be kind of an ally against Vought and maybe even the Seven, but who knows. But she definitely seems like she's becoming more of a hero than anything else in this show, which is interesting. And that whole part where she gave Black Noir an almond joy, that was funny. That was funny. Kicked away his EpiPen. That was really funny. We were all me and my friend laughing at that. That was a really funny way to defeat him. Which kind of that scene though I felt was important because we finally got to see Black Noir's face in a certain respect, and we saw he was really charred up, almost like Deadpool with scars and everything. But he also seems like he's black, which he obviously can't be a clone of Homelander then, so it seems like they're definitely not going that route, which I kind of figured they weren't, given everything they've done with Black Noir so far, but I guess it's kind of confirmed now. But yeah, so that's all the crazy stuff that happened. Then, at the end, is really when the proverbial shit hit the proverbial fan, as if that hasn't been going on the whole season. Heck, the whole series. But, yeah, things got really crazy towards the end. It kept seeming like it was going to end, and then it didn't. Like I said earlier, it was crazy when Homelander and Stormfront basically stole Becca's kid. It's like, basically turned him against her, and then left with him. And then we see the whole trial thing, and I haven't taken a bite from this taco in a while, and I kind of feel like I don't want to. It's kind of scary looking, but we'll try. My God, it tastes better than it looks, that's for sure. But yeah, so anyway, we see the trial. Butcher manages to convince Dr. Vogelbaum to show up at this hearing and speak out against Vought. But right when things are about to happen, and I felt like something bad was going to happen. Either Homelander was going to freak out or Stormfront was going to freak out, but all of a sudden people's heads start exploding, including Vogelbaum and a few, even I think the guy that was taking the place of A-Train in the Seven. Remember his name with the orange suit? His head exploded. It was crazy. Like everybody started dying. It was nuts. But Mallory escaped. Senator Newman escaped. I think all the Seven were fine. But it seems like they purposely did not reveal who it was. It's obvious that it's the same person that killed the CIA operative who was friends with Butcher and kind of like the boys' handler for a little, well, at least in season 1, she really helped them out. And then she died at the beginning of the season, her head exploded, and Mother's Milk thought that it was Stormfront, but she obviously doesn't have that power, and she obviously wasn't the one doing it in the courtroom. But it definitely seems obvious to me that it's Cindy, because she was basically doing the same kind of stuff, the girl from the compound that started, like, she had the telekinetic powers and just basically started, like, exploding everybody. It seems like it's her who's doing it, and I'm guessing she's either doing it under Stormfront's orders, like I'm sure she did with the CIA agent, but for everybody in the hearing, I'm guessing it's either under Stormfront's orders or she's just trying to, but she didn't kill anybody in the Seven, or even Stormfront, so I'm guessing she's still under Stormfront's control, but it's hard to tell. I'm sure we'll see next episode, but yeah. Then basically the episode ending where everybody's just like freaked out, and then we like the last shot we get is just Butcher's face. He's kind of like starting to crack a little smile. It seems like it's going to be a crazy freaking showdown next episode, so that'll be something to see. Actually next episode, me and Luke are going to be breaking it down together. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, thank you all for watching, and be sure to check out the Instagram, our podcast, all that kind of stuff, all the links in the description. And yeah, I will see y'all later. And I don't even know if I want to finish this thing now.